Hello, my dear students. Welcome to Sankalp learning classes. Very good evening to all. Yes, today in this session, we are going to study about the reproductive health chapter. Right. So, ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಎರಡು ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ಆಲ್ ಆರ್ ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಲರ್ನ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. Sorry. Yes. So in the last class, we have studied about the reproduction in human beings. So in that chapter, already we have studied about the different organs, right, like male reproductive organs and female reproductive organs, how they are involved in the formation of gametes and what are the functions of different parts of that reproductive structures, right? So in this chapter, reproductive health. So what is the meaning of, first we should know the meaning of reproductive health, right? So what is the meaning of reproductive health? According to the WHO, World Health Organization. So reproductive health, so it means well-being in physical, emotional, behavioral, and social aspects of reproduction. So according to the WHO, if you take the standard definition of the reproductive health andre ಏನು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ WHO ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್, ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ well-being in physically well-being and emotional, behavioral and social aspects of the reproduction. So that is the meaning of the reproductive health. Then, so reproductive health problem and strategies. What are the reproductive health problem and what are the strategies? So that we have to study here. So India initiated the reproductive health programs like family planning. So family planning anna introduce madide alva. So reproductive health and problem anna control madlikke and to improve the strategies regarding the reproductive health problem. So India initiated the reproductive health programs, that is mainly family planning alva. So that is in the 1951. Wider reproduction related areas are in operation under the reproductive and child health care programs. So RCH, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ CET ಅಲ್ಲಿ RCH programs means reproductive and child health care programs. So that is the RCH programs. So here, so what are the goals of these programs? ಈ ತರ programs ಅನ್ನ government ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, so that is introduced by the government. And what are the goals of these reproductive health programs? Here, give awareness about the reproduction related aspects for creating a reproductively healthy society. To create the reproductively healthy society. So, sorry. ಒಂದು ಸೋಷಿಯಲಿ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್, ಗಿವ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಅ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಹೆಲ್ತಿ ಸೊಸೈಟಿ. ಎಜುಕೇಟ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, care of pregnant mothers, postnatal care of mother, child, importance of breastfeeding, equal opportunities for male and female child. So in many areas, so many rural area we can say, so the people don't know about the birth control method and care of pregnant mothers, how to care the pregnant mothers, and postnatal care of mother and the child, how to take care of that child and mother after the birth of child, then importance of breastfeeding, why breastfeeding is very important. So these all things, so that is unknown for many people. So create the awareness about these and educate the people about these all factors. So that is very important goal of this program. And equal opportunities for male and female child, and awareness of problems due to the population explosion, social level like sex abuse and sex related crimes. So to create the awareness, so itara programs goals ಏನು ಅಲ್ವಾ. So educate the people, so that is also one of the important thing, and give awareness about the reproduction related aspects. And one more thing is awareness of problems due to the population explosion ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So if there is no birth control ಮೆಥಡ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬರ್ತ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ there is a chance of there is a population explosion ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ. So these effects of population explosion, so these all things are explained, and give the awareness about these all things. That is the main goal of these programs, that is reproductive health programs and RCH programs, mainly RCH programs. Okay. And aims and needs of sex education in schools. So what is the aims and needs? What is the need of the sex education in schools? Why we should educate the school students about this? To provide the right information about sex related aspects. So commonly in schools, all the students, they are teenagers. So for that teenagers, they don't know about these all things. So to provide the right information about the sex related aspects and what happens in that and what are the side effects, so these all things are explained. That is very important, and it helps to avoid the sex related myths and misconceptions. So we have to remove the misconceptions and sex related myths in the school level only, in the school students, because of they are teenagers alva. To give proper information about the reproductive organs, adolescence and related changes. So adolescence age ಅಲ್ಲಿ teenage, commonly we call it as a teenage alva. ಏನೇನ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, and about the reproductive organs ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, and ಹಾರ್ಮೋನಲ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, and behavioral changes, and safe and hygienic sexual practice, and sexually transmitted diseases like AIDS. ಸೊ ಡಿಸೀಸಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, educate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು for to the school students. That is the important aim and needs of the sexual education in the school. One more thing, a successful implementation of various action plans to attain the reproductive health requires strong infrastructural facilities and professional expertise and material support. So ಇದನ್ನ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ಗೆ ತರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ. ಸೊ ದೆರ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರಲ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅಂಡ್ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನೀಡೆಡ್, and medical and very essential medical assistance and care to the people in reproduction related problems like pregnancy, delivery, STD, abortions, contraception, menstrual problems, infertility. So ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೇಜಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ medical assistance is needed, not only infrastructural facilities, and there is a need of expertise and medical facilities are needed in these all situation. ಒಂದು reproductive health ಅನ್ನ improve ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, or reproductive health is achieved. So these all things are needed. Implementation of better techniques and new strategies from time to time and are also required to provide a more efficient care and assistance to the people. So these are the main aims and goals of the reproductive health programs. Sorry. Then amniocentesis. What is this amniocentesis? So I hope you heard this word. Amniocentesis. Amniocentesis means this is the fetal sex determination test that is based on the chromosomal pattern in the amniotic fluid surrounding the developing embryo. So you can see the diagram here. Ill nodi. So this is the fetus. Sorry. And this is the embryo. Sorry, this is the fetus and this is the uterus. So this fluid, the fluid which is present around the fetus, that is called as amniotic fluid. And so in the amniocentesis allen ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ for sex determination to legally check the increasing female feticides, massive child immunization, and are some programs that merit the mention in this connection. Means so this amniocentesis, that is mainly sex determination test based on the chromosomal pattern in the amniotic fluid. So that amniotic fluid test ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, chromosomal pattern in the fetal sex, which is the sex of that baby. So that is determined. And ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಫಿಟಿಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ಡ್, ದಟ್ ಫೀಟಸ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ಡ್, ಅಂಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಸಿವ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ immunization etc. and are the some programs that merit mention in the connection. So this is the amniocentesis. And why it is done, what is the use of this amniocentesis? What is the use of the amniocentesis? The first one is genetic testing. Genetic testing andre enu? Testing it for certain conditions such as Down syndrome. So sometimes there may be some chances of this Down syndrome in the baby. So this testing, so that can be determined by this amniocentesis test ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಈ ಡೌನ್ ಸಿಂಡ್ರೋಮ್ ಇದೆಯೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ, ಸೊ ಬೇಬಿ ಇಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ದಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಟರ್ಮೈನ್ಡ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ ದಟ್ the genetic testing, so different diseases are determined. And fetal lung testing it to determine the whether baby's lungs are mature enough for birth. So it also helpful for the fetal lung testing. Then diagnosis of fetal infection. So the procedure can also done to evaluate the severity of anemia in babies who have RH sensitization. So that is an uncommon condition in which mother's immune system produces the antibodies against a specific protein on the surface of baby's blood cells. So fetal infection, so diagnosis for the fetal infection. So sometimes the procedure can also be done to evaluate the severity of the anemia in babies. Sometimes they may be suffering from the anemia. To test that anemia, so this amniocentesis is used. And one more, that is because of the RH sensitization. RH sensitization ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ ಅಲ್ವಾ? What is that RH sensitization? So that is an uncommon condition in which the mother's immune system produces the antibodies against the specific, andre mother RH negative ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ. So if the mother is having the negative blood group during the second pregnancy, if the baby is having the positive blood group, then the mother body that produces the antibodies against the baby's blood cells. So antibodies anna produce ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Then there is a chance of baby become anemic. Anemia cause ಆಗುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So to evaluate that, to diagnose that, amniocentesis is used. Then paternity testing. Amniocentesis can collect the DNA from the fetus that can then be compared to the DNA from the potential father to detect the father. So ಈ ಒಂದು amniocentesis ಅನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್. amniocentesis, that is very important topic for your board exam as well as CET. Okay. Population explosion and the birth control. Already I told about the population explosion. So in the 1900, so in the 19th century, so the world population was around 2 billion. So by 2000, it rocketed to the about 6 billion. So that is nothing but the population explosion. Population ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅಲ್ವಾ? So if you see the ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, in India population was nearly 350 million. Nearly 350 million at the time of independence in the 1947 ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So that is 350 million only. It reached 1 billion by 2000 and crossed 1.2 billion in May 2011. So it means every sixth person in world is an Indian. Means that is the that is nothing but the population explosion, increasing the number of people. And according to the 2011 census report, our population growth rate was less than 2%. So here a rate at which our population could increase rapidly. So ಇದು 2011. So 2025 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ 2011 ಸೆನ್ಸಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತದ್ದು 2011 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು, ಅಂಡ್ 2025 ಎಷ್ಟಾಗಿರ್ಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್, ಯಾವ ತರ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋಷನ್? ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್? The main reasons for population explosion: increased health facilities and better living condition. So health facilities due to the science and ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ಈಗ 2011 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿತ್ತು ಅದು ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. 2021ಗೆ ಅಥವಾ 25ಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ತುಂಬಾ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್. ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ಡ್ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್, ವೆನ್ ಯು ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ year. So same, so that is one of the main reason for the population explosion. And rapid decline in death rate and maternal mortality rate. Rapid decline in the death rate ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? And infant mortality rate, so MMR, maternal mortality rate, and the infant mortality rate increase in number of people in the reproducible age. So ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, after the birth of the child there is a chance of death of mother, but now it is decreased. So that is a decrease in the maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate. Mortality means death. Infant death rate kuda kadme agide, IMR. So because of this reason, so there is a population explosion. So this, then what are the impacts of population explosion? Population ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, that is the common thing. So there is a scarcity of basic requirements ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಫುಡ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಶೆಲ್ಟರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಕ್ಲಾತಿಂಗ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಜಾಬ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, everything that is so that is very, there is a competition for everything, and there is a scarcity of basic requirements. Food, shelter, and clothing, these are the basic requirements, and so there is a scarcity of these basic requirements. That is the one of the impact of the population explosion. Then control measures. How we can control the population? Population control ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? So our governments, they have initiated many programs for the population control and motivate smaller families by using the contraceptive methods. So what is this contraceptive method? So that I will explain later. Okay, so ಈ contraceptive ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾನು ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. And aware peoples about slogan hum do hamare do, we too our too. So and many couples have adopted a one child norm. So these are all are the some birth control measures. And statutorizing in the marriageable age, females 18 years and males 21 years. So these all are the birth control, population explosion control measures. So that is initiated by our government. Then so contraceptive method. So what are this contraceptive method? So contraceptive method, that is nothing but the birth control method. So birth control ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು. So how we, what are the properties of an ideal contraceptive method? Birth control methods. So what are the properties of these birth control methods? That is, that should be user friendly, easily available, and effective, reversible, or least side effects, should not be interfere with the sexual drive, desire, and the sexual act. Very important for your board exam as well as your CET exam. What are the, which one is not a property of the ideal contraceptive? So like this they will ask the question. That should be user friendly, easily available. Contraceptive means which is used to ಬರ್ತ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಬರ್ತ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಮೆಥಡ್. ಓಕೆ, effective, reversible, or least side effects. There should be a least side effects and should not interfere with sexual drive, desire, or the sexual act. So these are the some important characteristics of the ideal contraceptive. Then what are the different methods of contraceptive methods? Okay, so this is the new word, contraceptive, that is the birth control methods. The first one is the natural method. Naturally, how we can control the birth. First one is the periodic subsistence. Natural method means without chemical or without any other using other things. So naturally the birth is controlled. How it can be achieved? It can be achieved by natural methods. First one is periodic subsistence. So what is this periodic subsistence? Avoid the coitus from day 10 to 17 of the menstrual cycle, that is the fertile period. So so coitus during, so you have to avoid the coitus during the 10 to 17 days of after the menstrual cycle, because there is a chance of release of egg in this time, right? So if there is a coitus, then there is a chance of the fertilization agi, there is a chance of the pregnancy during this period. So if you avoid in these days coitus during these days, so you can prevent the birth. Okay, so you can prevent the pregnancy if you avoid the coitus during the 10 to 17 days of the menstrual cycle. So after that there is a less chance of the release of the egg. So egg release ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ 14th day ಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, it may vary. So 10 to 17 days. So ಅದರ next ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, there is a less chance of release of the egg. So if you avoid the coitus during this, then so there is a less chance of the pregnancy. Okay, then second type is, so that is the natural method. Coitus interruptus, that is the withdrawal. Coitus interruptus, withdraw the penis from the vagina just before ejaculation to avoid the insemination. Just before the insemination, the penis should be ejaculated, penis should be withdrawn. So it is also called as withdrawal method. So that is called as the coitus interruptus. Next type is the lactational amenorrhea. What is this lactational amenorrhea? So it is the absence of menstrual cycle and ovulation due to the intense lactation after the parturition, after the childbirth. So you know that after childbirth, few days, few months, there is a absence of menstrual cycle and ovulation. So parturition ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ menstrual cycle, few months there is no menstrual cycle. So here this method helps to prevent the conception. This is effective up to 6 months following the parturition. It has no side effects, but chances of failure are high. So lactational amenorrhea during the breastfeeding time. So so if there is a coitus, there is a there is a no chance of the pregnancy. So that is the lactational amenorrhea. Okay, so these are the natural methods, very important: periodic subsistence, coitus interruptus, lactational amenorrhea. So these are the natural methods of contraceptive. Second type is the barriers. So here physical things are used to prevent the pregnancy, to prevent the birth control. Physical things. Before what we studied? Natural methods. In natural methods, there is no physical things are used, but here barriers, they prevent the physical meeting of the sperm and ovum. Example: condoms, diaphragms, cervical caps and bolts. Okay, yes, here you can see the different types of the, so these are the different types of the birth control contraceptives. Okay, condoms. Here, condoms, so these are made of rubber or latex sheath. Condoms for male cover the penis, and condoms for female that cover the vagina and the cervix. So condoms are used just before coitus. They prevent entry of semen into the female reproductive tract. So the Nero, that is the popular condoms for males. Condom, that is the barrier. Condoms, so that is the barrier that is used, that is the rubber sheets or latex sheath. So that is for both male and female condoms are available. So for males it covers the penis, and for females vagina and the cervix are covered. So which prevent the meeting of the sperm and ovum. Yes. So this is the condom for male and this is the condom for female. You can see the diagram. Nowadays, these condoms are very popular. Why condoms are very popular? It protects the user from the STDs and AIDS. What is STD? So that is the new word for you people. STD, that is sexually transmitted diseases. STD means sexually transmitted diseases. Means through the sexual contact, it transmits from person to the person. That is the STD, and it is disposable, and it protects from the user from the STD and the AIDS. Condoms prevent the user from the STD and the AIDS, and it is disposable. It is disposable. It can be self-inserted and thereby give privacy to the user. So this is also very important. Why condoms are very popular? That is disposable and prevent the user from the STD and AIDS. It can be self-inserted and thereby give privacy to user. So here barriers about condoms we have studied, and diaphragms, cervical caps and the olds. Here, so these barriers, they are also made of rubber and are inserted into the female reproductive tract to cover the cervix during the coitus. So cervix region anna cover madlikke. So these barriers are used. Cervix, so in the female reproductive organ you have marked the cervix alva. So through the cervix the sperms will enter. So the cervix is blocked. The cervix is covered by these barriers and they block entry of sperm through the cervix. They are reusable and these again, spermicidal creams, jellies, and foams are used along with these barriers to increase their contraceptive efficiency. Spermicidal creams means to the creams which kill the sperms or the jellies which kill the sperms. So that is also inserted in these barriers. Okay, so that prevent the pregnancy to meet the sperm and the egg. So that is the main thing of these barriers. Is this is the cervical cap. So you can see, so which is in cervical cap that is inserted in the cervix region and which contain the spermicide. So when the sperm enter, so the spermicide which kill the sperms and there is no chance of sperms that move towards the fallopian tube. So that is the main thing of these diaphragms and the cervical caps, the uses of the cervical caps. The first type of the contraceptive, that is the natural method of contraceptive, right? Second type, that is the barriers. Barriers, we have studied about the condoms and diaphragms and the cervical capsules. And the third type is the intrauterine devices, IUDs. IUD means intrauterine devices. IUD means intrauterine devices. Here, some devices which are inserted inside the uterus ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ insert ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Just imagine this is the uterus. This is the uterus and which are inserted inside the uterus ಒಳಗಡೆ insert ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. What are these? So let us study. So here these are inserted by doctors or nurses in the uterus through vagina. They increases the phagocytosis of sperms. So when they are inserted inside the uterus, so they increase the phagocytosis, means they just eat the sperms. IUDs are ideal method to delay the pregnancy or space children. Here there are different types of IUDs. The first type, that is non-mediated IUD. What are the types of intrauterine devices? IUD means intrauterine devices. Here non-medicated IUDs. What is the meaning of non-medicated IUDs? They retard sperm motility, also have spermicidal effect. Example, lippus loop. So these examples are very important. So examples anna keltare. Lippus loop, that is example for non-medicated IUDs. So with the IUD which is having the spermicidal effect. Spermicidal means which kill the sperms. Okay. So which have the spermicidal effect, that is the lippus loop. Non-medicated IUD, that is the lippus loop. You can see the lippus loop here which is inserted inside the uterus. Second type is copper releasing IUDs. Here, so copper ions suppress the motility and fertilizing capacity of sperms. So here copper containing these devices are inserted inside the uterus. So ಈ ತರ devices ಅನ್ನ uterus ಒಳಗಡೆ insert ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ and this copper ions, these devices releases the copper ions. ಈ copper ions ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that suppress the sperm motility. So ನೋಡಿ Just imagine that this is the uterus, and inside the uterus, which is inserted here. Okay. So this copper device, that is IUD, is inserted inside the uterus. When the sperms enter the vagina, so these are the sperms, and these sperms, so if they reach the fallopian tube, so when the egg is released, there is a chance of fertilization. But this copper T, so which releases the copper ions, which suppress the motility and fertilizing capacity of the sperms. Which sperms, they are motile, they are moving, right? But the motility and fertilizing capacity of these sperms, that is suppressed by these copper ions. So there is no chance of reaching the sperms to the fallopian tube, so that the pregnancy is prevented, the birth is controlled. And here examples, copper releasing IUDs, that is copper T, CUT. So this is the CUT, and copper 7. So this is the CU7, and multi-load 375. So this is the multi-load 375, which are inserted inside the uterus. Then hormone releasing IUDs. So the third type, the first type is the non-medicated, second type is the copper releasing, third one is the hormone releasing. Know that the hormones which play important role in the pregnancy, right, and the ovulation and menstrual cycle. So completely this process is depend on the hormones. Then what are these hormone releasing IUDs? They make the uterus unsuitable for implantation and the cervix hostile to the sperms. Example, progesterone, LNG 20. So these hormone releasing IUDs, they release the some hormones which are not suitable for the implantation. If the fertilization occurred, just imagine fertilization occurred, but implantation does not occur because of the hormones. If the hormone releasing IUD is implanted, so that prevent the pregnancy. Example, progesterone and the LNG 20. So first type what we have studied, natural methods of contraceptive, natural method. Second type what we have studied, that is the barriers. Third type, that is intrauterine devices, IUDs. So in that again we have studied three types, hormone releasing, then copper releasing. So these are three types we have studied. And the fourth type, that is the oral contraceptives. So what are these oral contraceptives? Here, oral administration of progestagens or progestogen estrogen combination in the form of tablets, so pills. So some orally some medications are taken to control the birth. So oral pills means tablets. Okay, some tablets are taken orally, for example, which contain the progestogen and the estrogen combinations. Pills are taken daily for 21 days, starting within the first 5 days of menstrual cycle. So how these oral pills are taken daily for 21 days, starting within the first 5 days of the menstrual cycle. After a gap of 7 days menstruation period, it should be repeated in the same pattern till the female desire to prevent the conception. So continuously it is taken by the female. So what is the use of this oral pills. Here they inhibit the ovulation and implantation and thicken the cervical mucus to prevent the entry of sperms. Pills are very effective with lesser side effects. So here mainly they inhibit the ovulation. Ovulation is prevented because of the hormones, and implantation, they prevent the implantation, and the sperm entry, that is also prevented by these oral contraceptives. And these oral contraceptives, they have the less side effects. And here Saheli, that is the new oral contraceptive for the females, very important for Saheli, that is the important contraceptive for the females, oral contraceptive. It is developed by Central Drug Research Institute, that is CDRI, that is in Lucknow. It contains a non-steroidal preparation. It is a once a week pill with very few side effects and high contraceptive value. So this Saheli, that is the new oral contraceptive for the females, which is having the very less uh, side effects, and which is developed by CDRI, that is Central Drug Research Institute, Lucknow, that is in the Lucknow. Then injectables. So these progestagens or progestogen estrogen combination are used by females as injections or implants under the skin. So this is the injectables. These are another method. This is the another method of the contraceptive. Here progestogen or progestogen estrogen combination are used by the females as injections or implants under the skin. So that is implanted under the skin. Their mode of action is like that of pills, and their effective periods are much longer. So which act as a pills. Pills ಯಾವ ತರ act ಮಾಡ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಲ್ವಾ, which prevent the um, pregnancy or fertilization and the implantation. Same here, progestogens or progestogen estrogen combinations and IUDs are used for as an emergency contraceptive within the 72 hours of the coitus. So if it is used within the 72 hours of the coitus, so the pregnancy can be avoided. It avoids the pregnancy due to the rape or casual intercourse. So that is the another method of the contraceptive. One more method, that is the surgical method. So sterilization method, it helps to block gamete transport and thereby prevent the conception. So it is very effective, but reversibility is poor. So what we studied before, so these all methods, that is reversible. So once the person, so who is not desire to use these all methods, contraceptive methods, so that can be removed, and there is a chance of pregnancy again. So if they remove that usage, but the surgical method, that is irreversible, means reversibility is very poor, because surgically the sterilization is done. So in that, vasectomy. So what is vasectomy? There are two types of the surgical methods. Contraception is used here. Sterilization procedure in males. In this, a small part of vas deferens is removed and tied up through the small incision on the scrotum. Here you can see, this is the vas deferens which carry the sperms. These are the testes. So you know about the diagram. So these are the testes, and these testes, they release the sperms, and the sperm that is carried by the duct. So the important main duct, that is the vas deferens. Here you can see vas deferens is cut, and so that is tied. So there is no chance of transfer of the sperms to the penis, right? So so this is the surgical method of the contraceptive. So here you can see the vasectomy, vas deferens is cut and tied, right? So that is the vasectomy that is performed in males, especially in the males only. And tubectomy. What is tubectomy? So that is performed in tubectomy. Mainly it is only performed in females. Okay, tubectomy that is in females. Tubectomy that is performed in the females. Here, the fallopian tube. So where the fertilization occurs. So where the egg is moved to the fallopian tube. In this fallopian tube, the fertilization occurs when the sperm enter to this region. So here, the fallopian tube is cut and tied, and which prevent the meeting of the sperm and the ovum. So like that, the pregnancy is prevented. That is the tubectomy. So here you can. So this is the tubectomy. So the sterilization procedure in females. In this, a small part of the fallopian tube is removed or tied. So that can be removed or tied. Here you can see the diagram here. So sometimes here the small part is removed and tied, or sometimes it is just tied. Okay. Or tied up through the small incision in the abdominal through the vagina. So this is the tubectomy. So these two, vasectomy and tubectomy, so these are the surgical methods of contraceptive here, which is commonly not reversible. Okay. Side effects of anti-natural contraceptive methods. So these all contraceptive methods, they may have some side effects. Then what are the side effects? Nausea, abdominal pain, breakthrough bleeding, irregular menstrual bleeding, or breast cancer. So these are the side effects of some contraceptive methods. Okay, so this is about the contraceptive methods. So contraceptive methods ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನೇನನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಸೆಪ್ಟಿವ್. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ್ದಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ದೆನ್ ಬ್ಯಾರಿಯರ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್. Barrier method and example. And third type, that is the IUDs, intrauterine devices. Again, types we have studied. Examples are very important. IUDs ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ example ತುಂಬಾ important ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ fourth type, that is injectables or oral contraceptives. Then injectables, injections. Then the sixth type is the surgical methods and examples we have studied. So ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ MCQs ಇರಬಹುದು, ಹಾಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬಹುದು, CET ನೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬಹುದು, ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಬಿ ರೆಡಿ ವಿತ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ how it is achieved. Okay, so next thing is MTP. What is MTP? I hope you know the word MTP, that is medical termination of pregnancy. So what is medical termination of pregnancy? So intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before full term is called MTP. So that is the induced abortion. So induced abortion means the baby is removed before it get matured. So abortion anta helbodu. So mature ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲೇ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನ abortion ಮೂಲಕ ಅದನ್ನ remove ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So why it is performed? Why MTP, medical termination of pregnancy, is performed? 45 to 50 million MTPs are performed in a year all over the world. That is 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancies. MTP helps to decrease the population Many countries have not legalized the MTP due to the traditional, ethical to emotional, due to the emotional, ethical, religious and social issues. But the government of India that is legalized the MTP in 1971 with some strict condition to check the illegal female pesticides. So 1971 many countries, so they not legalize this MTP. ಬೇಬಿಯನ್ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬಿಫೋರ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಚೂರ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ legalized. But in India it is legalized in the 1971 under some strict condition. So if you want to remove that baby, so MTP is not done, but certain strict conditions are applied to perform the MTP. Okay, so what are these conditions? MTP ಅನ್ನ ಯಾವಾಗ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು? Sometimes so if the baby is suffering from serious diseases like Down syndrome or any other severe condition or some heart disease, lung disease or some chronic diseases, then the baby is removed. So baby ಸಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಡಿಸೀಸಸ್ ಇಂದ, ಡೌನ್ ಸಿಂಡ್ರೋಮ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸಿಂಡ್ರೋಮ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಸೊ ಸಿವಿಯರ್ ಡಿಸೀಸಸ್ ಇಂದ, so if it is suffering, so then it can be allowed. Or sometimes during the rape or so in that situation, so rape agi coitus ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, so ಆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ so MTP is performed. To avoid the unwanted pregnancies due to the casual intercourse or failure of the contraceptive used during the coitus or rapes, it is essential in case where the continuation of pregnancy could be harmful to the mother or the fetus or the both. So sometime it is harmful for the mother or sometime for the fetus. ಸೊ ಆ ಪ್ರೆಗ್ನೆನ್ಸಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಆಗೋದು ಮದರಿಗೆ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಮದರ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಬೇಬಿ. ಸೊ ಅಟ್ ದಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ MTP is allowed. So these are the different situation where the MTP is allowed. Okay, so normally all MTPs that can be, that is legalized ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಸಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಆ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಸೊ MTP is performed. Problems related with the MTPs. Majority of the MTP, medical termination of pregnancies, are performed illegally. So what are the problems related with the MTPs? Why many countries not legalize the MTP? Because the major problem, that is many pregnancies are removed illegally. Many, if the baby sex is determined, ಬೇಬಿ ಸೆಕ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು, ಫಿಮೇಲ್ ಬೇಬೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ್ರೆ ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಫಿಮೇಲ್ ಬೇಬಿ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ನೀಡೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಮಿಸ್ಕನ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ಡ್. Okay, so this MTP is performed illegally. Misuse of amniocentesis test for fetal sex determination. Amniocentesis is used to determine the sex of the baby. Then the baby is removed. Female, if that baby is female, then it is removed. So that is performed illegally. If the fetus is female, it is followed by the MTP. Such practices are dangerous for the young mother and the fetus. So MTP is very dangerous. Only it is allowed in the certain condition where the mother is harmed or the baby is suffering from some disease, or in some condition only it is allowed. But illegally in these all situation it is followed. And amniocentesis, in this some amniotic fluid already we have studied. So amniotic fluid is of the fetus is taken to analyze the fetal cells, dissolved substances, and it is used to test the presence of genetic disorders and some other diseases which is in the fetus. Okay, so these are the some problems related with the MTP. Very important, MTP ಮೇಲೆ repeated ಆಗಿ questions ಅನ್ನ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Government of India enacted the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act in the 2017 to reduce the illegal abortion and the consequent maternal mortality and morbidity. According to this act, pregnancy may be terminated within the first 12 weeks on the opinion of the registered medical practitioner. If the pregnancy is in between the 12 to 24 weeks, two registered medical practitioners must be of the opinion. So that is the Medical Amendment Act 2017, the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 2017. According to this, the pregnancy can be terminated under this condition only. Okay, so yes, so this is about the MTP. Okay, so in this class we have studied about the mainly about the population, how the amniocentesis and how the population explosion, what are the reasons for the population explosion, and the contraceptive, mainly about the contraceptive methods, right? So next we are going to study about the sexually transmitted diseases. And what are these sexually transmitted diseases? This is also new word for you people. STD, sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, STD. So the diseases which transmit to the person to the another person through the sexual intercourse. So through the sexual intercourse are called sexually transmitted diseases or infections. STD or STI, sexually transmitted infection, or venereal diseases, or reproductive tract infection, RTI, reproductive tract infection, RTI, that is the reproductive tract infection. Examples: gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B, HIV, that is leading to the AIDS. So these all are the example for the STDs or STIs or so these are the some sexually transmitted diseases. Okay. So in the next class, we are going to study in detail about the sexually transmitted diseases and next part of this chapter. Okay. I hope this class is very helpful for you people. And if you enjoyed the class, please comment yes or just comment pause the class. Okay. Yes, thank you, dear students. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.